Samsung is preparing to launch its most ambitious flagship yet, the Galaxy S26 Ultra. But this time, the buzz isn't just about the camera upgrades or the sleek design. The real headline is under the hood. Samsung is rumored to ditch Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite 2 in favor of its own Exynos 2600 processor. That single decision could change everything. Why? Because for years, Snapdragon-powered Galaxy phones have been faster, smoother, and more reliable, while Exynos models carried a reputation for weaker performance, overheating, and disappointing battery life. Samsung knows this, and yet they're taking the bold step of putting Exynos back in the driver's seat for their most premium phone. So, is this a risky mistake or Samsung's smartest move yet? Let's break it down in detail. A quick look back, the Snapdragon versus Exynos. Rivalry. Samsung's relationship with Exynos has always been complicated. In some markets, like the US and China, Samsung shipped Snapdragon-powered flagships. In others, like Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, buyers got Exynos. The result? A global divide. Reviewers and fans quickly noticed Snapdragon versions performed better, stayed cooler, and lasted longer on battery. Meanwhile, Exynos phones often suffered from throttling during gaming, overheating in summer months, and inconsistent camera processing. This reputation became so widespread that many buyers avoided Samsung entirely if their region didn't get Snapdragon. Social media was full of hashtags like "Tar, no Exynos," and petitions demanding Samsung use Qualcomm everywhere. Samsung finally listened with the Galaxy S23 Ultra, which shipped globally with Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. That move was widely celebrated and gave Samsung's reputation a boost. The Galaxy S24 Ultra and S25 Ultra also leaned heavily on Snapdragon, so why change now? The Exynos 2600, built on 2nm technology, Samsung wants to prove it can compete head-to-head with Qualcomm and Apple, and the Exynos 2600 might finally be the chip to do it. The process, Samsung's most advanced node yet, smaller than Qualcomm's 3nm Snapdragon 8 Elite 2. Performance leaks. Geekbench results show Exynos 2600 outperforming Apple's A18 Pro in multi-core tests, while keeping single-core performance competitive. AI acceleration. Samsung has built-in next-gen NPU cores optimized for on-device generative AI, language translation, and smart assistants. Custom GPU with AMD partnership, built for ray tracing, console-level gaming, and smoother frame rates. Improved modem, better global 5G support, and Wi-Fi 7 readiness. On paper, this is a monster chip. But the big question is, will it perform consistently in real-world use? The reputation problem. Can Samsung convince fans? Even if Exynos 2600 is technically better, Samsung has a marketing challenge. For years, the narrative has been, Snapdragon is better, Exynos is second best. Breaking that perception won't be easy. Buyers don't just look at benchmarks. They remember past frustrations, overheating, faster battery drain, or games running smoother on Snapdragon. Samsung's strategy this time? Focus on real-world benefits, longer screen-on time thanks to 2nm efficiency, console-quality gaming with AMD GPU support, AI-powered photography that beats the competition, seamless multitasking with faster RAM and storage. If Samsung can show reviewers and influencers consistent results, no throttling, no overheating, no battery complaints, they might finally turn the tide. Camera and design, more than just the chip, the Galaxy S26 Ultra isn't only about the processor. Design leaks reveal Samsung is pushing refinement to new levels. Translucent back design, a semi-transparent finish that shows off the phone's internals, giving it a futuristic vibe. Ultra-thin bezels, nearly edge-to-edge display with flat edges for a modern look. 4-camera system. Samsung is sticking with a quad-camera layout, but improving sensors and computational photography powered by AI. Expect better low-light performance, smoother zoom and faster shutter speeds. QI2 wireless charging. With magnetic alignment like Apple's MagSafe, charging is faster and more reliable. Durability upgrades. Case leaks suggest grippier sides, tougher materials, and even lanyard cutouts for practicality. Instead of a radical redesign, Samsung is going for evolution, not revolution, polishing the Ultra's design to perfection while adding futuristic touches. Gaming, battery and cooling upgrades. Samsung knows that gamers and power users are the Ultra's core audience. That's why the S26 Ultra will likely include advanced vapor chamber cooling, larger and more efficient than before, designed to handle marathon gaming sessions. Battery efficiency. The 2nm chip means less wasted energy, giving longer playtime on a single charge. Performance stability. Early tests suggest fewer frame drops during long gaming sessions compared to Snapdragon models. If Exynos 2600 can really deliver smooth gameplay without heating issues, this could be the moment when Samsung finally regains trust. Global release strategy, Snapdragon or Exynos for all? One of the biggest questions, will every Galaxy S26 Ultra come with Exynos 2600? Some reports claim Samsung is going all in, meaning Exynos everywhere, no Snapdragon models at all. Others suggest Samsung may still ship Snapdragon in the US to avoid backlash, while testing Exynos dominance in Asia and Europe first. Either way, Samsung's decision will be closely watched. If they commit globally and succeed, it'll prove Samsung's in-house chips are ready for prime time. If not, the criticism will be louder than ever. Apple versus Samsung, the bigger battle. Apple's iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max will compete directly with the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Apple's A-series chips usually dominate single-core performance, but Samsung wants to flip the script with multi-core strength, better AI, and improved battery efficiency. This isn't just Samsung versus Qualcomm anymore, it's Samsung versus Apple in the battle for silicon supremacy. If Exynos 2600 beats Apple's A18 Pro in real-world tests, it could mark the first time Samsung truly challenges Cupertino on raw performance. Samsung knows that gamers and power users are the Ultra's core audience. That's why the S26 Ultra will likely include advanced vapor chamber cooling, larger and more efficient than before, designed to handle marathon gaming sessions. Battery efficiency. The 2nm chip means less wasted energy, giving longer playtime on a single charge. Performance stability. Early tests suggest fewer frame drops during long gaming sessions compared to Snapdragon models. If Exynos 2600 can really deliver smooth gameplay without heating issues, this could be the moment when Samsung finally regains trust. Global release strategy, Snapdragon or Exynos for all? One of the biggest questions, will every Galaxy S26 Ultra come with Exynos 2600? Some reports claim Samsung is going all in, meaning Exynos everywhere, no Snapdragon models at all. Final thoughts, risk or revolution? The Galaxy S26 Ultra is shaping up to be more than just a smartphone. It's Samsung's biggest gamble in years. If the Exynos 2600 delivers, Samsung will finally prove that in-house chips can compete with Qualcomm and Apple. It could also mean more control over its supply chain and faster innovation cycles. If it fails, Samsung risks angering fans, damaging its premium reputation, and repeating the Exynos disappointment cycle. At the end of the day, the S26 Ultra isn't just about specs, it's about trust. Can Samsung convince the world to believe in Exynos again? That's the billion-dollar question. So, over to you, would you buy the Galaxy S26 Ultra if it ships with Exynos 2600? Or are you still holding out for Snapdragon power? Drop your thoughts below, because this debate will shape the future of Samsung flagships.